Landscape Matters held a debate in June 2021 about the relationship between landscape architecture and environmental art. It went well and provided food for thought. You can see it on YouTube in 2 videos, an introduction by Brodie McAllister and a debate between invited speakers. There wasn't time for a summing up, and that's the aim in this video. I'll select points from the speakers and then give a personal view. Brodie McAllister, who organised the debate, set the scene and gave his view that landscape architecture needs to be integrated with the arts, including painting, poetry, sculpture, land art and environmental art. Ian Thompson, who chaired the debate, reminded us of Geoffrey Jellicoe's tow rope theory. Jellicoe, thinking about landscape architects' response to modernism, wrote that landscape architecture tends to lag 50 years behind the fine arts, but after this interval is towed forward. Scott Farlow is a poet, landscape architect and multimedia artist. He sees a shared concern for environmental issues between artists and landscape architects. It's overt in the former and implied in the latter. He notes that art is about digging deep, and in digging there is a revealing. Catherine D. speaks passionately about the opportunity and need for landscape architecture to be a leading profession. Jellicoe was of the same view and wrote in The Landscape of Man that it may become the most comprehensive of the arts. Trudy Entwistle spoke of her own work as a landscape architect and as an artist. As an artist in residence, she enjoys the freedom to live and work on her site, absorb its character, and work on it with her own hands. Andrew Stonia is a sculptor whose work is often site-specific. He sees no significant difference between the activities of artists and landscape architects. Edward Hutchison works at the interface between painting, drawing, architecture and landscape architecture. His design projects start with art, and his watercolours start with ideas about landscapes. Now for my overview, which centres on the Roman author who wrote the most important book in the history of design theory. Vitruvius Pollio was an architect in the sense that he recommended a design process which integrated whatever technologies were required for a particular design project. As a military engineer in Julius Caesar's army, he had learned about siege engines, site planning, musical instruments, clocks, and harbours. On leaving the army, he hoped to get work as a designer of buildings, and wrote chapters on this in his book, De Architectura. The first chapter of the book, on aims and methods, is relevant to the debate on art and landscape. Vitruvius wrote that a designer ought not to be and cannot be such a philologian as was Aristarchus, although not illiterate, nor a musician like Aristoxenus, though not absolutely ignorant of music, nor a painter like Apelles, though not unskilful in drawing, nor a sculptor such as was Myron or Polykleitos, though not unacquainted with the plastic art, nor again a physician like Hippocrates, though not ignorant of medicine, nor in the other sciences need he excel in each, though he should not be unskilful in them. For in the midst of all this great variety of subjects, an individual cannot attain perfection in each, because it is scarcely in his power to take in and comprehend the general theories of them. As any software architect can tell you, a knowledge of buildings is not essential to the art of software architecture. In essence, architecture is a design method. It is not a product category. Building architects are a special category, and there are many other types of architecture which are far outside the professional competence of building architects. Vitruvius explained the objectives of the design process as utilitas, firmitas, and venustas. They're usually translated into English as commodity, firmness, and delight. I've made a video about this, and though showing you some of the images, don't want to repeat the points here. You can find the video on YouTube. But, returning to the debate and giving a Vitruvian answer to the question about the relationship between art and landscape architecture, I give my view that both artists and landscape architects have a concern with each of the Vitruvian objectives. But artists tend to emphasize venustas, and landscape architects tend to emphasize utilitas. When they work together on a project, either profession can be the project leader and either can be a specialist advisor. The choice will depend on whether the client's primary concern is utilitas, firmitas, or venustas. The Forest of Change project, made in the courtyard of Somerset House in London in 2021, was the subject of a discussion between Robert Holden and me. The client's primary concern was venustas, so the project leader was an artist and stage designer, Ez Devlin. The role of technical specialist, concerned with utilitas and firmitas, was described as that of a forest architect, and it was taken by Philip Jaffa, who leads the landscape consultancy Scape Design. The two design leads did a good job, but it could have been even better if the two professions had more experience of working together.